What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Obviously this is your video posted as of the 29th. This will be the video after Christmas. So of course, I hope you guys had a great time with your friends, family, on your own if that's the case. Whatever your situation is or was, I hope you had a great time. If you ask for parts and you're getting that off your other half, off your family, whatever it may be, if you bought them for yourself in some spicy deals, let me know in the comments below. Obviously Christmas is for us, but in reality as car guys, Christmas is just for the cars. So if you've been waiting on that part, if you've got that part, if you can finally now progress your build to the next point, let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to know what you guys have been getting up to over the Christmas period. Obviously we're coming to New Year's now. If you're like me and you've got it off work, I hope you've all had a great time off work. But as we all know, the Christmas period drains all of our money. All of our banks probably at an all-time low right now. So in light of that, today we're going to be going over the best cheap affordable mods for a BMW E46. Now for me, I initially bought my car as my daily, as the budget car. So everything pretty much I've done has been on a budget, or I've been watching the cost of things as I go. So obviously I'm in a good position to talk about this. We're going to do it in maybe two parts. So you've got the first part is going to be anything under £100. So that's super budget. Pretty much I'd hope to say anyone can afford the under £100 mods that you can do to the car. And in my opinion, they're the things that make the best changes, especially being under £100 as well. And then if you've got that little bit of extra budget, if you've got extra spending money, you got that Christmas bonus, whatever amount you can spend on the car, we're going to push that budget up to around £500 and under. So we've got less than £100, and then we've got between that £100 and £500 mark. Without further ado, let's get to it. Before we get into that though, I understand these videos can be quite boring if I'm just listing off parts. So first port of call for me is to take this little guy here on a walk. I'm gonna get that done. I'm gonna try and get to a spot where there's no wind. So obviously I can go over the parts, I can show the parts I've done myself, and we can go over the car that way. Like I say, it's very windy, so you might have to deal with one more video of the terrible mics, because we may have some new mics coming soon. Once we've done that, I'll pick the camera back up at the spot where we can go over the best cheap mods for an E46. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Turns out we got caught in the rain and the wind, so we're not going to find a spot. So we're going to have to finish this video in the bedroom, in the nice and warm, no wind. You'll be able to hear me okay. Isma's having a great time. She's having a run around. But yeah, I'll pick up you guys when we're back home. I'm now home, as you can tell. It is literally pouring down outside. It is so windy. We would have never got any shots of the car. You'd have never been able to hear me, even with these awful mics. I say, I do apologise. We're still waiting on the new mic setup. Even mic'd up, it would have just picked up the wind. The camera would have been shaking, and it just wouldn't have made for a very good video. So we're inside now. We're in the warm. Should hopefully be a lot easier for you to hear me. It actually makes it a little bit easier for myself as well. I can obviously research the parts on screen as I'm speaking about them, have the exact cost, obviously what parts they are, and you'll be able to see the exact listing I'm referring to. I know some of these videos, when people say cheap mods, they'll just say the generic mods with no proof of how much it costs. They'll just say it's under this much. You don't know where to go for the parts. You don't know obviously what parts exactly to search for. But I will be throwing up on screen the exact parts I'm referring to, exact mods I'm referring to. And most of these I have on my car, so I'll of course throw up on screen as well the parts actually fitted to an E46. So you know the quality of them, you know what they look like. So yeah, overall you'll have all the information you need when looking for some budget parts for an E46. Without further ado, we'll start with the under £100 mods. There is a few of those. Under £100, like I say, hopefully everyone can afford that if you've got a bit of spare cash to modify your car. Starting off, one you can probably guess, one every E46 in the world probably has at some point, or should have, because it is a great easy mod. Probably the reason they are so cheap is because they're so mass produced. And that is the Angel Eyes. Now, whether you're pre-facelift, whether you're facelift, whether you're coupe, convertible, saloon, sedan, compact, you can still fit Angel Eyes to an E46. They're a great mod. They bring the car up to date. It improves the lighting massively, and all for the cheap cost of around £20. My ones I've got right now, I think they were literally about £17. I'll find a listing and throw it up on screen now. That is literally probably one of the cheapest mods possible to an E46, and it has the most change in my opinion. The visuals of a car, they're mods you can't go wrong with, because one, if it's cheap, even better, and two, it completely changes the front end of the car. Whilst we're on the point of headlights as well, there is a crucial mod that really isn't done enough on E46s. I found this by chance. A few people I've spoken to, they've asked me for the parts itself. It is literally the cheapest mod I've done to the E46, coming at £7, or on or about that. I think some are less, like £6.50 something. Oh, bless me. Back to the video. I think it is the cheapest mod I have done to my E46, coming in at around £7, so under £10. Forget under 100, under £10. And that is, you've heard me speak about it before, that is the corner lights, or the chrome corner lights for an E46. So if you don't know, I'm sure a lot of you do by now, the corner lights on an E46, for a pre-facelift that is, that's the variant I have, or the M3 variant for example, they have what's called the egg yolk effect, where you can see the amber corner light through the clear lens. That, in my opinion, doesn't look very good. What happens is, when you buy these very cheap bulbs, that's £7 for both, by the way, so £3.50 each. Once these are installed, you then can't see the amber through the corner light. It just makes it look a lot more clean. It's a full clear light and you can't see the bulb itself. They still shine amber, so they're still obviously compliant with your indicators and whatnot, but they just look a lot better in my opinion. Upping the price a little bit now, this comes in around £80, depending on where you're buying it from, of course, and that would be the exhaust system. Now, before you all jump to the comments and say you can't get an exhaust for £80, with the E46, like myself, all I've done is remove the rear resonator or back box, whatever you want to call it. I've just removed that, welded some pipe in there and got the exhaust tip on. That is literally all that I've done at the back. That cost me £80, and I'll throw in a clip here. That is literally what it sounds like. All for 80. That literally cost me £80. If you don't want to remove a box, you can buy prefabbed back boxes. I'll throw one up on screen now for under £80 as well. So that is an easy mod to get a little bit of extra sound out of your car. It's a no-brainer. It'll make the driving experience a lot more enjoyable. Obviously, makes the sound a lot more enjoyable to hear. The car just sounds a lot better, and it's a very simple thing to do to then make your car modified. Another one, in terms of the cosmetic side of things, this one spans across all cars, to be honest, depending on the car. They can all be under £100. This one comes in at around £70, and that would be Spacers. Now, a lot of cars from factory, even the newer cars now, they're still doing this. The wheel fitment from factory is awful. It is so sunk behind the arch, you can barely even see the wheel or tyre. So Spacers for me on any car are a must, unless obviously you get wider wheels. But Spacers, like I say, for a cheap mod, they're a no-brainer. So on the E46, my Spacers cost me around £70, I believe. You can still get them for around that, and that actually comes with the extended bolts as well. You're going to bring the wheel out more, you need a longer bolt to obviously reach, so you have enough threads in to make it safe to drive. So yeah, Spacers are another very cheap mod to do to any car, but in this case an E46, to completely improve the cosmetics of it. With me, it's one of my favourite things to do. If you look at the front of my car now, it looks so much more aggressive, just seeing those wheels and tyres poke out of the arches a little bit more. It looks so good in my opinion. Another one, under £100. Again, not E46 specific, but in my opinion looks even better on the E46. And that would be a Magna plate kit. Now, I've ran Magna plates on every single car I've owned, purely because I like taking content of the car. If you are someone that likes taking pictures of the car, getting cool videos of your car, or if you like doing certain things that aren't necessarily legal and you don't want your plate anywhere, Magna plates are the things to get. So for a complete Magna plate kit, you're looking at around £45. And obviously you have your plate, magnets behind the bumper. You can remove and reapply your plate at any point, however you choose fit. For me, for the content, it works perfectly. I can take my plate off, get the video shoots, get the Instagram shots, whatever it is you're filming. Whenever you're finished, you can whack the plate back on, and then obviously you're legal. So yeah, for £45, you really can't complain. Now, those first 5 mods, they're the mods that come in at under £100. So they're the very cheap, the easy things that pretty much anyone can do, or anyone should be able to do with a little bit of savings. Now, if you're going to extend your budget a little bit more, obviously it's just after Christmas you're seeing this video. If you've got any of your Christmas bonus left, if you've got any money for the new year, we're going to bring the budget up to around £500. This is on or about or just under £500. that we're going to be going through the next mods. Now these are the ones you're going to see the actual bigger changes, because obviously you're extending your budget a little bit more, you're going to get more for your money, and naturally there's then going to be more changes to the car. So our first one for the under £500, coming in around £195, would be an intake or an air induction system, whatever you want to call it, for the E46. Now, for example, I think there's a Ram air intake system you can get that is just the cone for around £70. That's what I have. However, this kit I've thrown up on screen, that is for the full guard, the cone, the piping, that's for everything. That is a much better kit, and probably a kit I'd prefer to run, to be honest. You would be surprised actually, being NA cars, you can actually hear quite a bit of a sound difference from having an intake system. One, obviously, you get better airflow. That's a no-brainer. It's great for the car, great for the engine. But two, you can actually hear the intake quite a lot in the engine. It almost sounds like ITBs. So when you're driving, it actually is a noticeable change to the sound, and obviously naturally your performance, because you're getting better airflow. Moving on to the interior of the car, this is something, if you're into older cars like myself, I do love the old cars. However, every single car I own has to have CarPlay. I'm either going to retrofit it, or if newer cars obviously come with Apple CarPlay. But if you're into your old cars, Apple CarPlay is a must. Me, on the E46, this has been the CarPlay system I am so impressed with. The Eon Apple CarPlay, value for money, the way it works so well, and I've had literally no issues with it. This comes in at around £150, which that is a no-brainer. For a full overhaul of the interior screen, obviously you're going from a normal old stereo to a full CarPlay screen. You've got Netflix, YouTube, the Play Store, normal radio as well, obviously CarPlay, also pairs with Android Auto. It is literally a no-brainer. You can also buy small add-ons for like £10–20 for like a reverse camera. You can even get like OBD sensors, so you can have your gauges on the screen. There is so much you can do with this CarPlay system. It is a must for literally any E46, and for £150, can you really complain? The next point may be slightly controversial, but being under £500, you're not going to get a great set. So the next point and the next cheap mod would be a budget set of coilovers or springs for the E46. Now I know, again, before you go running to the comments, everyone would love a BC Racing coilover set, an Oland set, a Yellow Speed, whatever they are. Everyone would love a great coilover setup. However, not everyone can afford it. So for a cheap budget set under £500, coming in precisely at £370, would be a cheap coilover set. These coilovers I'm going to throw up on screen now, value for money, are great. I've seen a lot of people have the older variant of this coilover system. They weren't great at all. The company has actually improved and actually took that feedback on board. These coilovers, they're adjustable, the quality is there, and also more importantly for this video, they're very cheap for a coilover setup. So for £370, you can have a full coilover system on your E46. If you are going to do that, pairing with the coilovers, you're going to want a set of nice wheels. Now, I'm the biggest advocate for not buying rep wheels. There is a time and place for them, I completely understand. Not everyone wants to spend a stupid amount of money on wheels. I was the same with the Golf. I am the same in some situations, but obviously if there is an option, I do think it is better just to wait and save for the real version of that wheel. However, if your budget doesn't allow for that, then you can, for literally in this case, £499, so just within budget, get a set of rep CSL look wheels. For these wheels in particular, they obviously have a different branding on there, but as most people do with reps, you just put a different centre cap in. They will change the look of your car massively, and for a full set of wheels for £500, it is kind of crazy. The quality may not be there, they may not be the best wheel in the world, but like I say, this video is all about budget cheap mods for an E46, and for a set of wheels for £500, you really can't complain at that. And with using your money wisely and wanting to get the most out of your money basically, a good easy mod for an E46 would be a splitter kit. You can get a full splitter kit, so that'll be sides, rear and front, for around £199, so let's say £200, and that'll be the full low line kit for an E46. Now to me, if you don't want to lower your car too much, a splitter kit is great because it will bring your car more body low to the ground without obviously having your arches rub on your wheels, without having your tyres get chewed up by your arches. Yeah, so a splitter kit is a great mod for any car. In this case, the E46 coming in at around £200. You'll notice as well, a lot of this stuff is from eBay. eBay is your best friend if you're looking at budget mods. There is always suppliers, there's always sellers on eBay that will sell good parts, and you'll be able to see the reviews of people like myself who have previously bought parts and if they're actually good or not. Don't get me wrong, I do understand there are some budget brands out there that are just terrible quality and you don't want to pay that, but some brands genuinely are just cheap for a good quality part. Speaking of, in terms of the wheels and reps, Yes, I completely understand, don't upbadge your car, but the E46 bumpers, you can't deny, the M3 bumper does 100% look the best. If you've got an E46 with an SC bumper, a stock spec bumper, they look awful. So for a cheap mod, in this case in the under £500 bracket, coming in at around £230, you have the M3 Rep bumper. Now for me, that's exactly what I have. It improves the look of the car massively. No, it's not an M3. No, it's never going to be an M3. Does it look good? Yes. Was it built on a budget? Yes. So you can't complain. With the M3 bumper, yes, I know you're going to have to pay paint as well. £230, £200 on paint, £270 less for paint, let's say. Typical cost for a bumper respray isn't going to be more than that. So yeah, you get that sorted and your car's going to look a lot better. So I think there was about 6 for the under £500 mark. But in total, that is 11 cheap mods or affordable mods to do to an E46. So these people that say they have cars and they can't afford to do anything to it, I completely get that. Everyone's financial situation isn't the same. But when you've got the brands out there...
It was at this point, my mic died, so I do apologise. But in short, I'm just going over the fact of that the E46, in my opinion, is one of the cheapest cars to modify at the minute. They're still cheap to buy as a base model car. The parts are so mass produced and remanufactured, being old cars, they're still very cheap. So under that £500 budget, you can pretty much buy a variant of each mod for the car to get your car to a respectable state. Like I say, the mics did die, I do apologise. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to drop a like. If I've missed out any mods that could be considered on a budget, drop them down in the comments below so anyone that comes to this video, obviously check the comments and see other options for mods on their E46. And of course, new video every single Sunday at 5 PM, so if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe. And from me, I'll catch you guys in the next one.